I'm Leslie Richards, SEPTA General Manager, and I welcome you to the virtual public hearings for the authority's fiscal year 2021 operating budget. As we follow the current shelter-in-place and social distancing guidelines set as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak, we have updated our budget hearing process. During these unprecedented times when we can't gather in person, we have been thoughtful in developing a plan to ensure we are inclusive and hear from all of our customers. We are hosting virtual budget hearings with the ability to provide comments by email and by phone in 3 different languages, creating a greater opportunity for input than ever before. We have posted the budget presentation on our website in advance of the hearings and engaged with advocacy groups, city and county representatives, and other partners to encourage participation in the hearing process. Our goal is to ensure that anyone who wishes to have their voice heard during these hearings, including our customers without internet, have the opportunity to speak or provide testimony for the public record. Representatives from our senior management team are available to listen to your concerns and comments, and the independent hearing examiner will take all written and spoken comments into consideration when preparing his report to the SEPTA board. The past 2 months have been difficult for our region, our customers, and our employees. The SEPTA family suffered the loss of several valued members of our team, and we have more than 250 employees with confirmed positive COVID-19 cases. Despite these losses and illnesses, as part of the essential service, SEPTA employees have worked tirelessly to provide essential life-sustaining services to the many healthcare workers, first responders, and other critical workers who rely on public transportation to get to their places of employment. In order to protect our employees and customers, we have taken extraordinary steps to ensure social distancing, including reducing capacity on vehicles, strongly urging all riders to wear a face mask or face covering when riding our system, and select service alterations. We distributed and continue to distribute face masks, bandanas or neck gaiters, disposable gloves, and hand sanitizers to all operators, frontline employees, and support staff not working remotely. We are enhancing our regular maintenance program with deep cleaning of vehicles and stations, as well as high-touch areas. The safety of our employees and riding public will remain at the forefront as we develop our recovery plans, and we will continue to share those plans with you. Public transportation services are essential to the vitality of our communities, neighborhoods, and region. During this hearing, we will discuss the fare restructuring plan, which will help us better serve the needs of our low-income communities and our traveling families. Upon board approval, we are focused on implementing 2 initiatives from the plan by July 2020. First, customers that will transfer will save the current $1 transfer fee when they use a key card loaded with the travel wallet funds. The free transfer will also provide flexibility, allowing riders to use multiple vehicles without a transfer fee, enabling faster connections on the SEPTA transit route network. Second, we will introduce a lower $1 fare for children ages 5 to 11 on both rail and transit. In addition, the number of children eligible to ride free with a fare-paying adult will increase from 2 to 3. These changes will go into effect on July 1 to help our customers as they recover in the coming months. SEPTA is moving forward with new 3-day passes on transit and regional rail for possible rollout in the fall. These will better accommodate workers and others who ride SEPTA less than 5 days a week. All other proposed fare increases won't go into effect until January 2021 at the earliest. SEPTA is proud to be a key partner in our region's economic comeback, and we look forward to helping our riders as we get through this emergency together. While our fiscal year 2021 operating budget was developed based on the funding guidance available to us at the time, our funding agencies have clearly been affected by COVID-19. So we recognize that we may need to make changes to our plans as events unfold through the upcoming fiscal year. We will provide updates to customers, advocacy groups, and other interested parties regarding any changes to the operating budget, as well as the capital plan. I want to thank everybody who has or will participate in our virtual hearing process and assure each of you that your comments and concerns are of great importance to all of us.
The presenters today for the fiscal year 2021 operating budget proposal and proposed fare restructuring are Mr. Joseph M. O'Malley, Esquire, James Cullison, and Michael Sionia. Mr. O'Malley will now begin the hearing.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joseph M. O'Malley, and I have been appointed as hearing examiner by Pasquale T. Dion Sr., Chairman of the Board of the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, better known as SEPTA and sometimes called the Authority. Mr. Dion made the appointment under those provisions of Pennsylvania's Public Transportation Law, as amended by Act 3 of 1994, dealing with public hearings and the adoption of the authority's final operating budget and 5-year financial plan. Due to the state of emergency declared by both the President of the United States and the Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the public health concerns created by COVID-19 outbreak, the coronavirus, and to support the health, well-being, and safety of our community, this public hearing is being held as a virtual hearing. There will be 2 days of hearings on this matter on May 26th and May 27th, 2020. The purpose of these hearings is to consider the authority's operating budget proposal for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2021, and the 5-year financial plan and the proposed fare restructuring. The operating budget proposal and the 5-year financial plan have been available for public inspection on SEPTA's website on or about March 20, 2020. SEPTA's public notice of these hearings indicates that persons wishing to file written comments should mail them to the Director Operating Budget, Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, 1234 Market Street, 9th floor, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19107, or individuals may submit comments via email at operatingbudget@septa.org. SEPTA will forward any such comments received in time for this hearing process to the hearing examiner. SEPTA invites all who wish to provide oral comments or testimony to call 215-580-7772 and submit such comments or testimony via voicemail message. This time, I would like to make reference to a number of exhibits that have been provided to me so that they may become part of the record. Exhibits originating with SEPTA will be numbered SEPTA Exhibit Number 1, SEPTA Exhibit Number 2, and so on. Exhibits submitted by anyone else will be numbered Public Exhibit Number 1, Public Exhibit Number 2, and so on. SEPTA's Exhibit Number 1 is a copy of my appointment to be the hearing examiner for these public hearings on the proposed budget and the 5-year financial plan and proposed fare restructuring. SEPTA's Exhibit Number 2 are proofs of publication of the notice of these public hearings in local newspapers. SEPTA Exhibit Number 3 are copies of the text of the notice of this series of public hearings. SEPTA Exhibit Number 4 is a copy of SEPTA's online internet posting of the notice of the fiscal year 2021 operating budget and the 5-year financial plan, as well as the proposed fare restructuring. SEPTA's Exhibit Number 5A is a confirmation indicating that the public notice of SEPTA's operating budget proposal, the 5-year financial plan, and the proposed restructuring was made available on the Associated Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired, ASB, and was posted on the National Federation of the Blind, NFB, website for the visually impaired. SEPTA's Exhibit Number 5B is written documentation of SEPTA's fiscal year 2021 operating budget, 5-year financial plan, and the proposed fare restructuring notices to various advocate organizations via email, accessibility@septa.org. A detailed list was provided of the organizations that received the notice. SEPTA's Exhibit number 6 is a copy of the fiscal year 2021 operating budget proposal and the 2022-2026 financial projections. SEPTA's Exhibit number 7 is a copy of the text of SEPTA's testimony concerning the budget proposal and the 5-year financial plan, as well as the proposed fare restructuring. SEPTA has also made available information about its operating budget proposal, 5-year financial plan, and the proposed fare restructuring available on SEPTA's website, www.septa.org, including, as I stated earlier, a complete copy of this proposal. I now admit these exhibits into the record. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have mentioned, there will be 2 days of hearings being held regarding SEPTA's operating budget proposal, 5-year financial plan, and the proposed fare restructuring. The purpose of these hearings is to give individuals, groups representing the riders of SEPTA's various services, including its transit and regional rail division lines and its paratransit services, as well as governmental representatives whose citizens are affected by the operating budget proposal, the 5-year financial plan, and the proposed fare restructuring, an opportunity to ask questions and to express their views on this matter. Any person who wishes to speak during the hearings must pre-register for a time slot at www.septa.org/notice. In order to have a complete record and to enable those who will speak to be more aware of the details of the proposals, representatives of SEPTA will make an opening presentation. After that, I will allow all persons who have pre-registered the opportunity to speak. I will accept and place into the record any document which is relevant to the issues under discussion. SEPTA has arranged for a stenographic record of this hearing. The court reporter will transcribe the testimony, and a copy of the transcript will be made available to me on an expedited basis. After the conclusion of these hearings, and after the transcripts of these proceedings are made available to me, I will review the entire record and make a report to the SEPTA board. The report will include my recommendations. However, my recommendations are not binding on the board. The SEPTA board will meet June 25, 2020 to make its decision as to the final operating budget, 5-year financial plan, and the proposed fare restructuring. The hearing examiner's report and recommendation will be available for examination at least 5 days before the board meeting. The board meeting will be open to the public. I also state that if letters or other written submissions addressed and intended for me received by SEPTA by May 31, 2020 will be forwarded to me, and I will mark them with an appropriate exhibit number and include them in the record. Since the testimony at this public hearing may be substantial, both in content and as to the number of witnesses, I may have to rule out any testimony not directed to the operating budget, 5-year financial plan, or the proposed fare restructuring. And I may have to restrict a person's time on this matter. Nevertheless, let me emphasize that it is of prime importance to me that everyone who wishes to appear and testify or ask questions be given an opportunity to do so. Each speaker will limit their comments to 3 minutes. So that these hearings proceed in an orderly manner, I have set forth the following rules. First, the SEPTA representatives will make a presentation and submit whatever relevant documents they wish to be included into the record. Then the public may make comments and ask questions. I further note that on the record that a sign language interpreter is present and at work at these hearings, and that the SEPTA witnesses have been sworn in and that they are authorized to testify on behalf of SEPTA. If items have been received from sources other than SEPTA and are intended by the senders for inclusion in the record, and SEPTA has no objection to their inclusion in the record, they will be designated as public exhibits and consecutively numbered. I direct that they be admitted into the record as marked. We will now hear from the SEPTA representatives, and I ask Mr. James Collison to make his opening presentation.
Thank you, Mr. O'Malley, and thank you to SEPTA customers for attending the authority's virtual public hearing today. Before starting our fiscal year 2021 operating budget hearing presentation, we want to provide an update on our financials, steps we have taken to reduce operating expenses due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Ridership has been dramatically affected as transit is running about 92% below baseline and regional rail is down 98%. As a result, we are projecting a revenue shortfall of approximately $125 million for fiscal year 2020. In late March, the authority moved quickly to institute a number of cost reduction initiatives to partially offset the significant revenue losses that would result from the shutdown of the economy. Service was substantially reduced, overtime eliminated, a hiring freeze was instituted, non-critical purchases were reduced, and business travel was canceled. Fortunately, in late March, Congress enacted and the President signed into law the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, or the CARES Act, which included financial relief for public transportation to ensure that essential services provided by transit could be maintained during the pandemic and through an extended period of economic recovery. SEPTA is eligible to receive $644 million in funding under the CARES Act from the Federal Transit Administration, which will help stabilize both the fiscal years 2020 and 2021 operating budgets. We anticipate using the vast majority of this funding, or $613 million, to pay for operating expenses. Approximately $25 million will be used to advance a few capital projects directly related to COVID-19 that will improve operations and enhance social distancing for our employees and the riding public. And $6 million will be directed to federally mandated safety and security measures. Despite the funding provided by the CARES Act, great uncertainty remains. The ultimate impact of COVID-19 on SEPTA's fiscal year 2021 ridership revenue, subsidies, and expenses is difficult to estimate at this time. The speed at which the authority recovers from this historic pandemic will in large part be driven by the timing of businesses and schools reopening in our region, the impact social distancing has on our service and ridership, and the rate at which the local economy recovers. We anticipate that adjustments will be necessary as we learn what the new normal looks like throughout the fiscal year. The proposed fiscal year 2021 operating budget, covering the period July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, was developed prior to the COVID-19 outbreak. Given the uncertainty surrounding the health and economic recovery of the region, it is clear that actual revenue, subsidy, and expense results will differ from budget projections. That said, we believe the CARES Act subsidies and local management of our expenses will help fill budget shortfalls that we may experience throughout the year. The budget proposal totals $1.53 billion, and we intend to continue the type of financial discipline that has resulted in 20 consecutive years of balanced budgets. Budgeted operating revenue for fiscal year 2021 is 2.6% higher than the current year budget. The budgeted revenue increase incorporates a fare restructuring plan and reflects a 2.8% increase in passenger and shared ride revenue, which represents 92% of total operating revenue. Other operating revenue is budgeted to increase by 1.4% as SEPTA continues to aggressively pursue alternative sources of revenue to balance the budget. The combined budget for advertising and real estate revenue of $33.7 million represents a 19% increase from revenue generated 5 years ago. January 2020, SEPTA and Penn Medicine entered into a 5-year station naming rights agreement that resulted in the University City Regional Rail Station being renamed Penn Medicine Station, generating another new source of advertising revenue for the authority. Operating subsidies of $989 million provide 65% of the authority's operating budget. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania provides 79% of the total, with the 5 local counties providing 11%, and federal subsidies and other route guarantees making up the remaining 10%. SEPTA's operations are labor intensive, with labor and fringe benefits accounting for 71% of the total operating budget. Labor and fringe includes a cost associated with negotiated labor agreements and a modest headcount increase for operator trainees, trainers, and maintenance personnel to safely support operations. The budget proposal includes an increase in non-labor expenses to provide for inflationary increases, third-party contract services, leases for the right-of-way owned by Amtrak, service vehicles, new telephone communication software, and carrier services. Over the next 2 years, the authority will take delivery of 71 new paratransit vehicles, 45 multi-level rail cars for regional rail, and an additional 148 hybrid electric buses. The new buses will increase the size of the energy-efficient hybrid bus fleet to approximately 90% of SEPTA's overall bus fleet. Replacing diesel buses with hybrid vehicles has resulted in a reduction of 11.2% in annual fuel consumption between fiscal years 2014 and 2019. The authority has also reduced its budget for propulsion power and other utility costs to operate its facilities by competitively contracting with third-party suppliers. The authority is nearing completion of a project to install new solar panels at 4 large bus and maintenance facilities and is currently working on a project to retrofit its Center City building to be more energy efficient. These projects further demonstrate SEPTA's commitment to continue implementing energy-saving initiatives. The 10-year claims payout trend for individuals injured on SEPTA-owned property or aboard vehicles shows over a 50% reduction in costs during this period, primarily due to an extensive video surveillance network and aggressively defending against fraudulent claims. With the budget challenges ahead, we will continue to manage spending, seek efficiencies, and effectively utilize available CARES Act funding in a manner that ensures a balanced budget. Mr. Mike Sionia will now discuss the proposed fare restructuring plan.
Thank you, Jim. SEPTA has historically made fare adjustments every 3 years, as recommended by the Pennsylvania Transportation Funding and Reform Commission in 2006. The Commission recommended regular fare adjustments to improve the financial stability of public transit agencies in the Commonwealth and to ensure that passenger revenues are increasing in accordance with inflation. SEPTA's fare restructuring that was announced in March was developed based upon feedback from our customers, local stakeholders, elected officials, and advocacy groups, and included an evaluation of the operating budget to ensure that we generate adequate revenues to maintain existing service and continue to achieve balanced budgets going forward. The major goals of the restructuring include providing a free transfer on transit, offering savings for children and family travel, developing new products for discounted travel for customers that use our system less than 5 days each week, and keeping weekly and monthly passes attractive. Staff has proposed that if adopted by the SEPTA board, the fare restructuring will become effective on July 1st, 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic has, of course, caused us to reconsider our plans, as discussed by Leslie Richards in her introductory remarks. While the proposed free transfer, $1 fare for children, an increase in the number of children eligible to ride free will become effective on July 1 upon board approval. Any approved fare increase will not become effective until January 1st, 2021 at the earliest. The fare restructuring plan is designed to lower fares, especially for passengers that transfer such as key card customers and customers with disabilities. Customers that transfer will save the current $1 transfer fee. A recent Pew study reported that low-income transit riders travel farther and transfer more for employment opportunities. As a result of this restructuring, low-income passengers will benefit by no longer paying for the initial transfer. The free transfer will also provide flexibility, allowing passengers to utilize multiple vehicles without a transfer fee, enabling faster connections on the SEPTA route network. The fare restructuring proposal will also reduce the cost of family travel on both transit and regional rail by introducing a $1 fare for children ages 5 to 11 on both rail and transit. In addition, the number of children eligible to ride free will increase from 2 to 3. The $1 child fare will provide cost savings, enabling families to affordably travel anywhere on the SEPTA system. On transit, this fare reduction represents a savings of 60%. Pricing was held constant and will remain flat over a 6-year period for many transit fares, including the cash and disabled base fare, the one-day pass, parking rates, and for riders utilizing power transit and senior share ride services. The weekly and monthly pass pricing modestly increased by 4% and 3%, respectively. Also, a new 3-day pass is being introduced at a discounted price of $18 for transit travel, good for 72 consecutive hours after first tap. The 3-day pass is targeted for workers with flexible work schedules requiring less than 5 days of travel, including shift workers and visitors traveling to the city. Product availability is targeted for October 2020. 2/3 of our regional rail customers utilize weekly and monthly passes. We are proposing modest increases to ensure these pass instruments remain attractive and competitively priced in the market. Regional rail trail passes are proposed to increase 6%, and cross-county passes are proposed to increase 7%. While we continue to offer discounted weekly and monthly pass products, the SEPTA Key single-trip fares are proposed to increase 8%. This same 8% increase will apply to existing 10-trip tickets until the Key Card single-trip fares become effective. The one-day Independence Pass will increase $1.50, but the AM peak travel restriction is lifted to allow use any time of day. A new discount quantity purchase of 3 Independence Passes is priced at $13.50 each, just 50 cents over current pricing. Fares for up to 3 children between the ages of 5 and 11 traveling with a fare-paying adult on all SEPTA services will be $1. This represents between a 43% and 78% savings on regional rail, depending on zone of travel. Up to 3 children under the age of 5 traveling with an adult will continue to ride for free. As a result of this change, the Family Independence Pass product will be eliminated because the proposed $1 child fare will have broader application for savings. In addition, the evening off-peak rates that went into effect after 7 p.m. weekdays will be eliminated for fare simplification, an ongoing initiative at SEPTA. Discounted off-peak ticket rates will continue to be available for weekend travel savings. In closing, we believe the proposed fare restructuring plan will provide our customers with affordable pricing, encourage family travel, and offer options for customers that encourages efficient travel throughout the entire SEPTA service network. We greatly appreciate your attendance at our virtual operating budget and fare restructuring hearing, and we look forward to hearing your comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Just a reminder, the public comment period for SEPTA's fiscal year 2021 proposed operating budget and fare restructuring ends on May 31st, 2020. Public comments are being accepted through the following methods: by email to operatingbudget@septa.org, or a voice message by calling 215-580-7772 and leave a message. English, Spanish, and Mandarin language options are provided. Or you could submit your comments by U.S. mail to Director, Operating Budgets, SEPTA, at 1234 Market Street, 9th floor, Philadelphia, PA 19107. Finally, you can pre-register to speak during the WebEx virtual public hearing sessions. With regard to the operating budget virtual public hearing, the virtual public hearing schedule is May 26, 2020 at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. or on May 27th, 2020 at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. American Sign Language interpretation will be provided during both virtual hearings. Individuals who wish to testify must pre-register for the operating budget virtual public hearing at www.septa.org/notice and will be provided 3 minutes for presentation of their testimony. There is space for up to 1,000 participants per session to view the virtual public hearing. During the hearing sessions, SEPTA will also provide a toll-free number available for members of the public who wish to listen to the virtual public hearing. For members of the public who are not able to participate in the virtual public hearing or choose not to speak during the hearing, you may submit your comments via any of the methods listed in the public notice. All comments received either during the virtual public hearing or via one of the other methods indicated in this presentation will be reviewed by SEPTA staff and forwarded to the hearing examiner. Thank you.